Welcome back everyone to our C++ Text RPG series. Today we're going to be starting the actor class. So what's in an actor? An actor in our game will be any playable character. Actors you can control, change their equipment, command their battle moves, monitor their stats, etc. Enemies, NPCs, they won't be considered actors in our game. However, they are characters. In our game, the enemies will be part of a party of different actors. The party will take care of things that all actors can have access to, like inventory, equipment, gold, etc. We'll get into party and inventory and equipment in a later video. All actors will have different types of attributes. Some of them will include the name, level, XP or experience points, XP to the next level, HP or hit points or health points or whatever you prefer, max HP, and stats. The stats will have their own class in our game. We're not going to bombard the actor class with too many different things. Stats will have its own class, and then the actor will have an object or a variable of a stat. Some of the stats will include strength, speed, intelligence, dexterity, attack power, defense, magic power, etc. The actor will also have equipment. The equipment will be held in 5 different slots: helmet, weapon, chest, body, footwear, and accessories. Here's a little mock-up of what the actor class is going to look like. It's missing a lot of different things that we're going to have to put in there, but if you take a look here, we have the actor type. Right now we just have warrior, black mage, thief, fighter, bard. Is it going to stay that way? I'm not sure. That's just what I put up to right now. So all actors are going to have a name, the ID. The ID itself is a way to distinguish the actors. All IDs are unique, so all actors will have a unique ID. So it's level, it's XP, all those different things. Some simple functions down here like heal HP, just basically takes the HP, checks to see if you're below max or above max, and then sets it to max, etc. So also, if you take a look there, we'll have a vector of equipment slot labels. A good example of equipment slots would be here in Final Fantasy. As you can see, you have different slots. You have your weapon, shield, helmet, armor, etc. You're going to want to be able to equip and remove. You're also going to want to be able to switch between characters. We're also going to have an item menu in our menus as well. You're going to want to be able to use them, key items, all these different things. We're going to be doing that as well. We're going to be having an inventory class as well. So let's get into that. Alright, let's get into creating the actor class. Alright everyone, before we get into creating the actor class, I want to go over a few changes that I made in the background. So in the selector class here, I ended up moving all the move functions and the action functions into the private section of the selector class. Let's take a little look. So in the selector here, all those functions are handled inside of the process inputs and the draw function. There's no need to have these functions accessed outside of the class. So I made them private, and then they will all be handled here inside of the process inputs and the draw classes. These ones we will need access to, that's why they're there, but these ones, they don't need to be accessible, so I moved them out. Some other changes I made was to the console. I noticed that here, anytime we were calling set text color, if we were sending in a single character that was either a space, a new line, it would actually throw the error that it was unable to set the color. Now the error wasn't a throw, it wasn't actually a crashable error, it was more like just a log. So what I did is I created a little function here called isAnyUp, and I have a vector of invalid characters. Then I used std-findIf. So what this does is it takes in a vector and it checks the range. So we have a range of begin to the end of the vector, and it takes in this lambda. So we're checking to see if std-findIf is equal to std-end of the vector. If it is, then okay, set your colors. If not, don't set the color. I also made a slight little change to the logger. It's not very much. All I did was add a new line for each new attribute that I wanted to show. So the file will be on a new line. I noticed here everything was kind of crowded and clumpy. So now everything comes out nice and clean. File, the location, the function name, the line, they're all on different lines. And one other change I found was in state machine, or not in state, in game state, if you pop the last state before it wasn't returning, so it would go into this process inputs, and it was trying to process inputs on a state that didn't exist. So then it would just have a button error. So I just added this return here and it works fine now. So let's start our actor class. So just like before, new item, header, actor.h. So as I stated in the slides, there's going to be a lot of different things to the actor. So we're not going to be able to finish the whole thing right now. So we're just going to get the actor started. All we're going to need right now is to include string and then start our class, actor. We're going to have private. We're also going to have protected and public. Also up here, why not put a public enum for the enum class for the actor type. And that's going to be warrior, well, I can't remember exactly what they were, black mage, thief. How do you spell thief? Is that correct? That's good for now. So what are some things that all actors are going to need? So all actors are going to need a name, so a string name. All actors are going to need a level, XP, XP to next level, HP, max HP. That's good for now. And we're also going to hold basically a flag if the actor is dead or not. We're also going to need the actor type. And we're going to just leave some to-dos here because there's some things that we're going to have to add later. So what are we going to need? We're going to need our actual equipment. So a map to equipment type of equipped items. We're going to need our stats. I'm going to create a class for that. We can't do this. We need our equipment first. Equipment needs to be created first before we can do that. Different actions. But we'll get into that in another episode. So what can we do up here? What do we need private? Things that aren't going to change, and we don't want them to be able to change. So we're going to need std vector. Oh, let's include vector. W string, and that's just going to be our equipment slots labels. So the slot labels are those 5 labels that we were talking about in the slide and what I showed you in that Final Fantasy game. We're also going to have labels for stats as well. So it would basically be the same thing, std vector of std w string of m stat labels. Now we're not going to implement that right now because we don't have our stats, so that's good there. So let's start with our constructor. And our destructor. I think the destructor can just be default. And our constructor is going to be a little bit different. So we're going to have two constructors here. One that takes in a name. One that takes in the level, the max HP, and the actor type. I will have that default to the warrior. There's also a few functions that we could throw in right away. One would be void heal HP. It'll take in HP. Void take damage. That'll also take in HP. Then we can do, let's bring these down here. We can actually do some inline const get HP const const int. Then we can also do get max HP. We also want to be able to get our labels. Okay, so let's define these. Okay, so we'll define our default actor as an actor. I'll just say actor name, level 1, 100 for max, and actor type, order. So what this is going to do is this is going to call this constructor, and then we'll do everything in this constructor. So if you just create a blank actor, it's going to call this constructor with these arguments. So we'll initialize. So all we're doing now is initializing our stuff. We're going to initialize our mHP to max HP, so it's just right at, and our max HP to max HP as well. So now we can initialize our, you know what, I was going to do it there. I say we just make it const because it's not going to change. So if we come here and go const weapon, armor, head. Let's put head first before armor. Armor, footwear. Let's call this headgear. Footwear. And accessory. Okay, so our actor is started. So let's quickly define these functions here. These are pretty straightforward. So m HP plus equals HP. Then check if m HP is greater or equal to m max HP. And take damage m HP minus equals HP if m HP is less than or equal to 0. MP equals 0, M be dead equals true. Let's do another getter as well. So yeah, right here, where do we put that? So we don't want to start off as dead. And here, we'll go inline, const, bool is alive. Or no, is dead. That makes more sense. Const return and be dead. All right. So our actors are not just going to be, an actor is basically going to be a base class for a player. So we're going to create another class and call it player. So the player is going to be what we control. The player will be an actor, but it will also be a character. So it will actually be having multiple inheritance. It will be inherit from actor and it'll inherit from character, where enemies and NPCs will only inherit from character. We'll get into that later. So let's just start the player class. What are we going to need? We're going to need to include actor. We also, the player will be what makes up our party. So let's start the class, player. We need to inherit from actor. So we'll put private here. We don't have anything right now. Public. Player constructor. Actually, you know what? The name is just fine. We'll just start with name. Player destructor. Now, I don't know if we should put these functions in actor class or the player class. Actually, we'll put them in the actor class because they're basically part of the actor. So we want to be able to get the name. It's a W string. That'll do it. We're going to want to get the level. Get XP. XP to next level. I know it looks like our player class isn't going to really do anything, but we'll be adding to this later as well. The player will also need a reference to the inventory and other things that we'll get into as our game progresses. So let's create the player. All right. So each player is going to be an actor. So what do we need to do here? Oh yeah, so if we look at our constructor, we're going to need to put a few other things in our player. So we're going to have to have the name, we're going to have the HP, what was that again, sorry? Yeah, level and max HP. So level and max HP. We're going to start our player like that. So let's go back here. Cool. So now our player constructor will initialize our actor. I know it seems pretty bare bones right now, but we're going to be adding a lot more in later episodes. So let's go try to create an actor right now. So let's go to game state. And inside of game state, we're going to want to include player. And let's create, I don't know if we have memory. We'll include memory anyway. And let's just make a unique pointer to a player. We'll just call this M test player for now. Let's go to the constructor. We'll just initialize this in the constructor. SE make unique. Player. And we'll do the player constructor, which is name. We'll just call this test player, level 1, and max HP 200. Awesome. So down here in our draw function, we'll do some things. So let's go auto const auto reference So remember, everything needs to be a W string in this. So we'll say HP is equal to M test player get HP. Sorry, not draw. Right. I'm going to draw that as blue. We can probably just do this. Okay, so let's go in. It should say the player's name, and right underneath it should have our HP. Yay, test player, HP. Perfect. So that's what we got for now. Tune in next video. We'll start finishing off the actor class and the player, and we'll start getting into the inventory and items, so we can start adding items and equipment to our players. Okay, well, that's the start of the actor class. In the next video, we will start the item and inventory classes. The inventory class will be able to hold all of the party's items, equipments, and key items. We also will be creating an interface that all items will use that will help us create the item creator class. The item creator is basically based on the factory design pattern, and it will handle creating all of our items for us. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.